Hello and welcome to Full Tech Ahead. I'm your host, Amanda Razani, and with me today I have Kurt Muehmel. He is the head of AI strategy at Dataiku. How are you doing today, Kurt?
I'm doing great. It's great to be with you, Amanda. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Happy to have you on the show. Can you share with our audience about Dataiku? What services do you provide?
Dataiku, we're the platform for AI success. And what it is a platform targeting really enterprise customers, mostly Global 2000 large organizations that want to be able to work on top of their data, wherever that data may sit, to build analytics models and increasingly AI agents using the best LLMs out there to transform their business. So, as a company, we've been around, kind of came out of the machine learning space over the past decade or so, but really now focusing a lot on accelerating the ability for organizations to take some of those incredible LLMs that all their favorite providers are offering them, combine those with the enterprise data that they have, which is uniquely theirs, and turn it into agents that run their business under the, of course, careful supervision of their human experts.
Wonderful. Well, I believe Dataiku recently conducted a survey of about 900 or so CEOs. Can you share what the survey was about and what information did you gain from it?
Yeah. So this is the CEO Confessions report, 2026 edition, and I really love this format. It's a format that we've run a couple of times over the years, targeting different roles at enterprises, typically large enterprises. We've done it for CIOs, we've done it with CDOs, and now we're doing it with CEOs. And the way that we frame it is the confessions. What are the things that they would admit to if they're anonymous, if their answers are not going to be attached back to them, because it's only going to be reported in aggregate. And we get these really interesting insights into what it's like to be in their shoes in the the current fast moving space that we're all in right now. And so here with the CEO Confessions report, we really focused on the way in which the CEOs themselves are feeling this strain between the push to deliver with AI against then the tension about controlling it, about controlling their spending on it, about being able to show that they're actually getting value out of it, and then also interestingly where the decisions are being made in the company, and it starts to reveal some really interesting tensions. So, for example, one of the things that I was surprised to read was that 70% of the CEOs that we survey say that they own the AI strategy. That sounds, that I guess that in and of itself is not shocking. But then only 60% are saying that they participate in a lot of or most of the AI related decisions. And so there's this growing disconnect between ownership of the initiative and then the actual decision making which is going on to to deliver on the promises that then the CEOs need to go and defend in front of their boards of directors. So it's been a really rich and valuable resource as I've been reading it, as we've been talking to our customers about it.
That's interesting. So they're not necessarily making this decision about the AI implementation, but then they're having to own that project and make sure that everything goes smoothly.
Yeah, that's right. And what we're seeing then is that, of course, a lot of the core decision making is being delegated further down the chain. So within the executive suite, we're seeing that that's going to the CIO, and then a head of AI, often underneath the CIO. But it's a real challenge for the CEO, that chief executive officer, because again, they're the one who needs to be the face to the board of directors, reporting on that initiative, but also the public faced and the investor facing face person who then needs to go and explain the way this initiative is going. And so this growing challenge between ownership and accountability, we think is going to drive perhaps some rethinking of the way that organizations set the objectives, set the measures for these different executive roles.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems that maybe there's a lack of communication there. I mean, from your experience, how could companies be doing this better so that everyone feels fully in the loop?
Yeah, so I think that that the blueprint is not written yet. We're in the middle of this incredible technological, economic, sociological change that's being driven by the extremely rapid advance of AI. And I think you and I were experiencing this in our personal lives, where we're discovering new ways to use AI, where AI in all of its different forms is entering our daily lives, sometimes entering our relationships in ways that are driving subtle changes. And this is, of course, only exacerbated or made more significant within the enterprise, where these questions of ownership, process, etc., are really being defined for the first time. What we're seeing, though, from organizations that are doing this well, is that they are taking a kind of a learn fast and experiment quickly approach to it. It is involving a lot of let's say hands-on leadership from top executives, from that CEO and from that CIO. One of the things that we've observed is that organizations where the CEO themselves is, as an individual, a user of AI, often we see that is translating into better directives, better understanding of the limitations and the potential of the technology. It's a bit as if in 1995, 1998, you had a CEO who still was not using email, but was pushing a very online strategy for the organization. You might have some doubts. So I think that it's really an opportunity for organizations to make sure that everybody is digging in, and that they're testing the best approaches to defining responsibilities, which includes then the responsibility for actually testing the technologies, building out new capabilities, and rolling them out to the business.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think another struggle that we hear about lately that I'm sure CEOs are dealing with as well, on top of these actual planned AI initiatives, you also have company employees using their own AI tools or unapproved AI tools throughout different departments, and being able to keep track of that from a safety and security measure. So, what advice do you have in that area?
Yeah, yeah, and this is, I think, really interesting and really, in a way, unique to AI, because the technology itself, especially when it's presented as a chatbot, is just about as easy as any technology is to use. And once again, we're all using it in our personal lives. We find it useful there, and so it's understandable that the employees of an organization would want to use it within their day to day work. And if I were a CEO who were responsible for driving an AI led change in my organization, I would be encouraged to hear that my employees are wanting to use this technology. Now, at the same time, there's real concerns about the security, about the privacy, and about the cost, and especially, of course, if individuals are taking corporate documents, corporate data, and uploading it to the chatbot of their choice outside of that corporate firewall. That, of course, is just not possible, right? We can't allow for that. No organization can allow for that. And what this drives is the need for these organizations to go fast, to be able to deliver that capability to their employees quickly in a way that is secure. But then, importantly, to go beyond that initial internal chatbot, internal co-pilot sort of initiative, to actually start building out some of the more advanced AI capabilities. Here, I'm thinking about agents that are actually running parts of certain workflows, running parts of certain decision processes within an enterprise, so that they can not only address the immediate demand for just the assistance that a chatbot can provide, summarize a document, reword something, but then also show their employees that AI can do so much more for the business than just, again, be a supercharged text processor for them.
Right, absolutely. Well, so when we look at how quickly AI is advancing, all companies are trying to jump on how they can use AI most effectively. But we're still seeing a lot of vendor decisions that are leaving employees unhappy. They make these decisions, and then when they roll them out, they're second guessing them. They're not immediately necessarily seeing that ROI. So, where are things going wrong here? Or what's the bottleneck, and how do you advise business leaders handle that?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because again, there is this pent up demand. There's the pressure coming from the board to do something, to to basically to spend money on this and solve solve some problems with AI. And what was, I think, one of the most shocking numbers to me in the report was that 76% of CEOs said that they regretted one of the choices, one of the vendor choices that they had made, and were feeling overly dependent on too few AI vendors. And if we think about the events, of June and July, where certain models became unavailable due to export controls, government decisions, I think that throughout the entire market, from the AI creators, the developers of the models themselves, to of course the enterprises that are becoming increasingly dependent on those tools, that was really a moment that drove home the need to maintain, let's call it, strategic independence, flexibility among AI vendors, in the same way that organizations have historically made sure that they've not had all of their eggs in one basket for other critical aspects of their operations. Because it seems like AI is increasingly becoming a geopolitical topic, which means that various governments around the world may start imposing restrictions on either the availability or the use or the performance of certain AI models, which means that it's critically important for enterprises to be able to choose a model, work with a good model, but then be ready to switch, to be able to test and switch quickly, which is one of the things that actually Dataiku really focuses on in our product, is making sure that there's that, let's say, independence from any one of the AI vendors, in the same way that we've done that with clouds and data platforms in the past. So I think that this is a really critical moment for organizations to, yes, move quickly on AI, yes, make choices. It's necessary, but at the same time, to make sure that you're maintaining a degree of strategic independence from any one vendor, to make sure that you have that flexibility going forward.
Yeah, absolutely, because there is always that fear. We've seen, a few AI tools that have become banned essentially for one reason or another. And if you're a company that implements these certain AI tools, that's a lot of money wasted if you're having to roll those back.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is, and it's better to be able to certainly anticipate that need to be able to switch, and make sure that you're not too tightly coupling any one of these things that you're building to the underlying model, and that you can and that you can move relatively easily from one model to the next.
And also, I know a big issue right now is token usage. Companies have come to rely on being able to produce a certain amount of work for a certain cost. And now those costs seem to keep rising. It's less work being done and more tokens being used. So, what do you see in the future as far as, is that going to even out soon? What do you see going on there?
So I think that in absolute terms, token usage across the economy is going to continue to increase dramatically as AI touches more parts of the economy, as more and more use cases, applications get built out that rely on AI. At the same time, I do think that there's going to be a shift from, let's say, a relatively expensive token to less expensive tokens, as organizations get through a phase of, let's say, experimentation and first deployments, and start moving into a phase of optimization. Basically, what we've seen today is organizations using the top tier models to test, to prototype, and to build essentially the first production versions of their use cases. Now, what they're doing is going to that second step and saying, okay, well, how can we get equivalent performance, or performance which is 99% as good, whatever that threshold is that they need for that given use case, while optimizing for cost. That might be moving to a smaller or older model from a same or similar provider. In many cases, it looks like organizations moving to open source models, and in some cases, open source models running on infrastructure that they manage themselves, which of course is the architecture which guarantees that nobody else can cut off your access to that model. And so we're in a phase right now where organizations are setting up that capability to, one, optimize, and then move to smaller, more specialized models, and increasingly open source models.
Well, looking toward the future, If there was one key takeaway you could leave our audience with today, what would that be?
I think that it's that boards are asking CEOs to defend the AI outcomes faster than companies can actually explain them. The operational reality of AI is colliding with the governance expectations around it in real time, and we're in this really dynamic phase where we're both building, learning, optimizing, and learning to govern all of this all at once. And so I think that this is going to be a period over the next 12, 18 months of a lot of not, I wouldn't call it uncertainty, but a lot of dynamic movement within the marketplace, as we're all figuring this out together. So I guess the leaving the last message is, both buckle up, but also look around you. This is an incredible time to be part of this space.
It definitely is. It will be exciting to see the future unfold, and it's happening so quickly.
It certainly is, and it's a really a unique opportunity, I think, in the really the history of technology and its adoption, but in the economy. So yeah, I think we're as crazy as it feels sometimes. I think we're all very lucky to be here doing what we're doing right now.
Most definitely. Well, thank you. And thank you to our audience. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll try to respond as soon as possible. Have a wonderful day.